Gibby, this clubhouse was, by and large, there was a core group. There was a happy bunch with Batista and Eddie Encarnacion, Brett Laurie in there, and of course, Aaron Sebia. And I would think this year with the guys that you've got in there, it's nothing to do with baseball as far as the X's and O's are concerned, but I would think one of the main things that you'll be looking at as the manager of the team is how to get all the new personalities meshed in with what has been the atmosphere of the clubhouse being carried over from last year.
No, you're right. Almost they've got to all come together as a team.
Can't have jealousies in there. Get the pecking order, find their place in the totem pole, that sort of thing.
Right. I mean that's big. People don't always realize. People think, well, if you get this much talent, I mean everything just should happen naturally, but that's not always the case. You can win a lot of games on talent alone, but the teams that win championships, there's something different about them. They're a team. They come together and they pull for each other and they do the things necessary. So you see around sports all the time, in all the different sports. There's a lot of teams out there with great talent but never win much, and everybody scratches their head going, what's going on? But I think it's they don't come together as a team and function that way. So that's our biggest objective when we're down here in spring training, because there's so many new faces and guys. I think they know each other, but they've never played together. So and then you throw the WBC in. That doesn't help. We're going to have five guys going to that, but that's something we'll just deal with because it's an honor to represent your own country. But come opening day there in April, we'll be ready to go.
That's an interesting point, though. That the WBC, there were supposed to be 8. It's down to 5, which I guess is a good thing. Does that change the way you have to? I mean, it does in certain ways, but how many ways does it change the way you run camp?
Well, we'll have those guys that are leaving early on, so we'll get to know them there, and we'll sit, go over our fundamentals, and they'll play a few games, and then they're out of there. And I really don't know, the guys that are going. I don't know them very well at all. So that's kind of disappointing to me that I won't be able to. That's a big part of it. They got to figure out who I am, and I got to figure out who they are. But it's been very successful for baseball, this WBC, so we can't get in the way of that. That's for sure. But we'll see. Maybe some of them will get knocked out early. Who knows?
You can reach us here on Twitter at nextsportstar, and Dwayne has this morning. There's a question for you from Dwayne. He says, "What is the health status of Sergio Santos?"
Well, Sergio's moving right along. We won't really know until he gets down here. We see him and he starts cutting the ball loose, but no complaints so far. And he's throwing the ball regularly, and we think he's going to be fine. But anytime you have something done with his shoulder, you always got to be a little cautious with it. And he's very new to pitching. He's just been doing it for a couple of years now. So we got to make sure he's smart. We don't rush him, but we don't see any lingering effects.
Hey, so, and you see him as your setup guy, and Jansen will be the closer?
Yeah, well, Casey's going to go in as a closer. We'll just see where Sergio is. If he's healthy and strong, it looks like the perfect spot for him. We've got Oliver there that also did a great job for the ball club last year and has had a tremendous career. He can fit into those slots too. So you have so many good arms and guys that are options. You can really go to anybody on any particular night.
You mentioned in front of the crowd the other night, the Blue Jays getting together with season ticket holders, that R.A. Dickey's going to be the opening day pitcher, and that's not a surprise. What's amazing to me, I had seen the book he'd written and read little excerpts from it, and I saw the year he had with the Mets and so on. I'm amazed at this guy. He seems like he could be a real leader for your team. He's really unusual, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's gonna be refreshing, I think. I had a chance. I went down with Alex to Nashville. When he was when they were pulling off the trade, and he was trying to get him to sign an extension here. And he's really a very interesting guy. He's had it's an incredible story. And there's going to be a lot. It's great for the media. I know there'll be a lot of attention on us this year just from his life story. So, But he's a very intelligent guy, and we need him to be a leader, you know. But more important than that, we need him to win some games.
Gibby, you know, I know being a good Texas lad that you like to have a good steak now and then and a couple of Budweisers, but I thought maybe you'd had too many the other day when I woke up and read the papers and said, Jack Morris back with the Jays. I thought, oh, Gibby, what have you done now? But I was relieved to find out it's going to be in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, you know, I met Jack at the winter meetings, and then the other night when we were there too. That you know, and shoot, I think it's a great addition. You know, with you know, his knowledge of the game and his you know, what he accomplished. You know, just adds a little more firepower to the organization. So, and, you know, I plan on, you know, talking with him, trying to pick up some things from him. And I told him, feel free when you're down here in spring training, if you got anything to say to some of these pitchers, heck, they can only benefit.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, well, he's on his way down. But he was a surly cuss for a while. But when he came to Toronto, it really turned him around, he says, and he became much more fan-friendly at the end of the day. But maybe that the edge he had is what made him such a competitive player at the end of the day. Gibby, you know, I know that for fans listening out there who work away, they see the salaries that ball players make, but I never had any idea you made so much money until Stephen Brunt came down and did that documentary on us, and you opened up the doors of that wonderful home that you and the missus have down there in San Antonio.
Hey, Mom, I do have a nice house, but let's not kid ourselves. It's not in any guarded community. I'll put it that way.
It's, you know, it's funny though. One of the things you mentioned again, we talked to you about it before, about how San Antonio and getting to manage that Double-A team was like a dream come true for you. And I'm wondering whether at the end of the day, is that where you'd like to go back to from a baseball sense? I mean, I'm not trying to run you out of town. You just got back, but you know what I'm saying. You know, it sounds like that was like an absolutely ideal situation for you.
You know, I loved it, but that was basically all humor. You know,
yeah, you don't want to be there. I get that in that sense. It's kind of fun. You know, we haven't talked to you about how you view the rest of the division. An awful lot of people think that the AL East is back to being the best division in baseball again. I think you can make an argument for all 5 teams. Maybe the one that would be the toughest to make is one that's a perennial contender in Boston. You don't get a break at all here, do you?
No, you really don't. It is, in my mind, it's the toughest division in baseball. You know, because every team's very competitive. And in the, you know, the 2 top payrolls have always been in our division with Boston and New York. So they bring in the marquee players. And you know, when you play the teams in your own division so many times, and there's the best teams, and that just wears you down. That's what beats on you. And now we feel, hey, you know, we got the best team in the league, but we got to go out and prove it. We can't just talk about it. But you know, the whole American League though is very, very strong. But there's something about the American League East. I don't know what exactly it is. It's not talent alone. It's just you know, the cities you play in, the intensity level, things like that. It all adds up to make it. You know, you win the American League East, you feel pretty good. It doesn't guarantee you're going to win the World Series, but you know what? You've accomplished something there.
Gibby, listen, I think from a karma point of view, I'm hoping for your sake and everyone else's sake that the Jays got all their injuries out of their system last year, because it was brutal, as you well know. So that's another good thing going in your favor. Everyone's looking forward to the opening day and following everything that goes on in spring training down there, and I know that you'll be right on top of it. All the best of luck. Thanks for doing this with us this morning. I appreciate it. I'll give you a call from time to time and give you a wake-up call, but we always appreciate it when you take some time to come on with me.
Hey, that's right. You know, we've done these before, and I usually am half asleep. So,
well, the beautiful part is no one can tell the difference. Listen, Gibby, say hi to Julie for us if you're talking to her today, okay?
I will, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Best of luck.
Thanks, Gibby.
Hey.